Set pieces. It's Farrell on it again. Deep one around the back. And Quinn has scored. There is the breakthrough goal. It's Andrew Quinn. The underdogs bare their teeth and show their fight in this cup final. Drogheda United strike first.
Welcome to the We Are the Drogs podcast, a Drogheda United fans podcast, proudly sponsored by the Coffee Box.
Hello and welcome to the We Are the Drogs podcast, episode 7. So delighted to be joined again by Owen. How are you doing, Owen?
Greg's on, what's the crack?
No, all good, yeah. Greg's up, is it now? Bogo.
Yeah, this week anyway.
Here we go again. And also delighted to be welcomed again by Richie. How are you doing, Richie?
Oh, good, Niall.
Good. See, look, call me Niall. Owen, there you go. We'll have to come up with some concrete name decisions before we record another episode, lads. It's getting out of control.
Yeah, we're getting mixed up between both now.
Yeah, so before we get started, happy birthday, Owen.
Thanks very much.
Happy birthday, Owen.
Cheers, yeah. 35 today, yeah.
35, my ass. Get out of that. Anyway,
Yeah.
He's only a young fella, Niall.
He's only a young buck, yeah. It's well for him, innit?
Sure is.
Right, so, looking back on Tunis Cross on Friday night, you two were lucky enough to be there. How was the experience, Bogo? Was it a good crack?
Yeah, it was a good old trip now, yeah. Myself, a couple of us stayed over, and Richie stayed over as well. Yeah, good trip down. Pity we didn't get the win, which we probably deserved, but look, it's another point on the road. Can't really complain too much.
No. Was it a good atmosphere at the game and a good experience and all?
Yeah, it was good, yeah. The Ultras, they ran the subsidised bus, fair play to them. They actually ran a couple of buses, so there was the biggest draw the crowd I've seen there in a long time.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely a big shout out to the lads for sort of subsidising 2 buses, because that's great work. Like, it's brilliant. It's a great opportunity for the younger heads that probably couldn't afford to be paying sort of big money to be getting to Cork. But yeah, that brilliant. It looked class on the telly. The only complaint was that Virgin Media only turned on the mic down at the Drogheda end after Drogheda scored, because you could see that there was a great crowd and you could see that the lads were giving it socks and stuff, but you couldn't hear anything until after we scored, and then somebody decided, oh yeah, we might as well turn that mic on down there now, lads, which was a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, sure was, yeah, definitely.
Strange decision. Yeah, what was it like for yourself, Richie? It was a good crack?
Yeah, brilliant. It really was good. Now, myself and Matt and Evan, and with Harry and Kyle and Sean, and with Noel McCormick and Aaron with us as well, so there's a good crew of us went down. So
yeah, definitely.
It was brilliant. Now, we didn't tell the 3 youngest lads, they're only 11, so we sent them to school Friday morning. And yeah, it was great. So we always tell them, look, we'll probably watch it in the pub later, it's on telly, so we can watch it. So they were all delighted with that, and then we collected them from school and said, right lads, let's go, we're going to Cork. So
brilliant.
It was brilliant surprise, yeah. It was great, you know, and they were like, really, are we going? I said, yeah, come on, it's Drogheda Day, we don't miss too many matches, so let's go. They were delighted. Yeah, it was brilliant. And yeah, and we'd know McCormick and Aaron as well with us, so boys, it was a great time. Brilliant. I tell you, I was very impressed with Tunis Cross. It was a long time since I was there. I must have been only a kid when I was there last, but really impressive stadium, wasn't it, Boga?
Yeah, it's one of the better grounds in the league, in my opinion. It's always good atmosphere. Pitch actually looked quite well. I know they had issues with it relatively recently, but yeah, it's just a nice place to go watch a match. The only problem I have with it is that it was 25 quid for that to get in. It's a bit steep, but
yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it was steep, alright. But even now, the pre-match now, the pub that we were in before was great. The Tunis Cross Tavern.
Yeah, that's a good spot. Usually, I think the first time I was there, I was probably 16, 17 years ago. It's a great spot. It's actually been done up probably since, I'd say, the likes of Greg's been in it. But yeah, it's good. Buzzing as well. It's good crack with the Cork fans as well.
It was very welcome now. There was live music before the match, live music after it. And it was literally just a walk. It was probably like from what he uses to the ground, wasn't it? It was that close.
Yeah, not far at all, really.
Yeah, it was really good. It was brilliant. I have to say, it was one of the better away days. Really, really enjoyed it. It was brilliant. Now, as you said as well, disappointed to leave with only a point. Should have been 3.
It should
Yeah.
have. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
No, sorry, Owen. I was just going to say before we'll get on to the game in due course. But Turner's Cross Tavern was always the sort of the local when we used to go back in the day. Obviously, under the sort of Doolin era, we were up and down like blue ass flies. We seemed to be always playing cork and something. And you used to get the flight down in the morning, but it was always one of the mad early flights. So you'd be in Cork City at bloody 10 o'clock in the morning. Sort of you check into the accommodation and then go for a wander around and get food, and obviously then start on the points fairly early. So we'd a few
Full day of it.
yeah, we'd a few mad trips there to Cork that like literally by the time I got the kick off, I was fucking fit for bed rather than going to a football match. But it was against that kind of classic Cork side with George O'Callaghan and Liam Carney and the ones that were sort of battling with us around that period, because they was probably like our main rivals back in that era. They won the league the year we won the cup, and then we played them in the cup final, and then we played them in the Setanta Cup final, and it was just, you know yourselves, it was a great little rivalry for a few years. Like, but no matter what we kind of think about Cork and what we thought about Cork back in the day, like it's a real football city, like, and they get great crowds, and as you said, the ground looked really, really good on the telly and all that. The only thing that I'd love to see change, but it would be kind of probably impossible, is there's no kind of atmosphere between the both sets of fans, because you're just at opposite ends of the pitch, and you can never really hear them. You can see them and they can see you, but there's no sort of direct sort of abuse between the fans, which always adds to the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like when you go up like some daily out now at Inchicore, you can see their reaction. You can see their faces when something happens. But yeah, you're right. It was a big distance between us and the Cork fans behind the other day. It really was.
Yeah.
But look, I'd say I really did enjoy it now. I thought that was really good now. And as Owen said there now, fair play to the ultras, like running a couple of buses, brilliant to see.
Amazing.
That has to help the players, doesn't it? Having all them fans there.
Well, as I said, I watched it on TV, and it was the live game on Virgin, which was brilliant because I didn't have to go through the absolute agony of trying to fucking watch it on that League of Ireland TV, which is still a shit show. But we won't get on to that. But so it looked absolutely amazing when the players were coming out of the pitch. It was just a sea of claret and blue over in the corner, and it looked like one of the biggest crowds that we've brought there. And since back 20 years ago, since the Doolin era, definitely, like, and that wouldn't have happened if the lads hadn't have organised them buses. So big fair play, like, it's brilliant. We will talk about the game in and of itself. It feels like ages ago now, but a game that we dominated that game, lads. We absolutely battered them, and I don't know how much of it you could really see from where you were, your vantage point, but like, they had that. They scored first, and it came from a mistake from us. It wasn't as if they cut us open. They just could not get near us for the first 20, 25 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We could have been 2 or 3 up within that 20 minutes, I think. Just we absolutely battered them, just couldn't get in back in there.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. No, it was crazy. Like the first 20 minutes, like I said, we're going to win this 3 or 4-0 the way this is going. This is what it was unbelievable start, wasn't it?
And it really, like, I don't know whether you look back on the highlights before you did this or anything, but I mean, we should have had that ball in the net at least 3 times. Like,
Definitely, yeah. And even all the action was down their end, wasn't it? Owen was all right in front of us. All them shots, the rebounds, and that was right in front of us. So, don't know how the ball didn't go in.
Yeah, there was some keeper made a couple of good saves, and there was some last switch blocks and stuff. I just don't know how it didn't go in, but
Yeah. I was just looking as well there earlier. We 23 shots we had below.
I know.
That's massive for an away team, and with 8 of them on target, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
That's big now for an away team, for us as well.
Really, really big. And you know what? My thoughts coming away from it were, like, it just goes to show that, you know, you can people can call us what they want. And I got the impression the other night that the boys in the studio. It was Keith Tracy and Owen Doyle, and Keith Tracy was sort of fairly gung-ho about how much we dominated that game and how good we were. And I seen that he ended up putting he does like a League of Ireland team of the week of News Talk, and he had Conor Kane and Ryan Brennan in his team.
That's right.
And he was seriously impressed. And in the last few weeks, it's funny because he keeps saying me ex-club, me ex-club, Drogheda, and he wouldn't have been saying that a couple of years ago, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, obviously we're going to get to the controversial moments and that in the game as well, but he was seriously impressed by us, and I think your man was Conan Bone that was doing the co-commentary.
Yeah.
Ex-Pats. I was laughing, right? Because they kept Trevor Welch, the main commentator, he kept on getting players' names wrong, and I was going, are we going back to this era of not even knowing who players are? Like, he's a list of players in front of him. He was calling
amateur hour, isn't it?
Oh, it really does my head in. He was calling Owen Lamb, so John Lamb, and I don't know, it was embarrassing. But when the incident happened with Warren Davis, your man Conan Bone was trying to convince the audience basically that the ball had hit his hand, and it's very hard to see at first glance there, but it's a bit easier to see in the second one that the ball might have hit his hand, and you're just going like, lads, you're trying to make up talking points in a game that has enough talking points without that, you know. Yeah. But look, that's a minor gripe. But yeah, we absolutely just. Like, we played out of our skin. The boys were like rabid dogs. We didn't give them a minute, especially in the middle of the park. There were so many times when you watch the game back, like Ryan Brennan, just little blocks. And it was a Ryan Brennan little block that actually led to a goal. Graham Farrell, Dara Markey, just really just ran their socks off in the middle of the park. Like.
Yeah, no, they sure did. And I just seen a comment as well. I'm not sure if it's you, but I love going on to the opposition's Facebook page after a match and reading their comments.
Right.
I do, and they most Friday nights. But the Cork fans now, a few of them saying, by far the best team you've seen below in Cork this season.
Really?
Yeah, a few of them was very impressed with Drogs this year. You know?
Yeah, a couple of lads
the best team.
Pub after the game said to me as well, they said we were brilliant, like, don't know how they got away with it, like.
Yeah, which is nice to hear as well.
Yeah, and you know what really made me like sort of, I won't say I was shocked, but it was a different kind of performance, because it wasn't this sitting back, and we get you on the break. I mean, I think City did that to us a few times, but we were willing to get down, we were willing to get forward, and we were always looking for that out to get the ball either over the top or down through the wingers. I mean, we're not overly concerned sometimes with like going through the middle of the park. I think even the commentator picked up on that. He says Drogheda don't care about that middle space. It's not the priority. With a lot of teams, it is sort of that build up play from centre halves out to the lads in the midfield, and then walking the ball up the top. For us, we'll and we can change it up as well. So that's really pleasing for going forward. You know what I mean? We can go to Turner's Cross. It's a big pitch in front of 5,000 people or whatever it is, and they didn't look one bit phased. And as I said earlier on, we came out of the traps, and we just absolutely went at them. Look, we'll get to there. They go one up through the Rory Keaton penalty. First question is, lads, and I know you couldn't possibly see it from your vantage point, but there's no way anyone can tell me conclusively that was a handball. Nobody.
Yeah, no, it was a tough one, wasn't it? And if you look, Mark, on the replays, like, your man goes and heads it, and then for about 2 or 3 seconds, he doesn't call anything, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was the crowd calling of one of these decisions. Oh yeah, handball, and and I know it's only 3 seconds, but that's a long time, And then all of a sudden, the referee goes, "Oh yeah, penalty." It was nearly as if his decision, referee. He didn't say penalty straight away. It was one of them, and it was a bit harsh.
I think it was a bit harsh. Just again, as you were saying, the replays are a bit inconclusive. I'd say if that happened down at the other end of the pitch for us, that wouldn't have been given. I do think into the shed. I think that sort of influenced them a bit.
Yeah, and it was just that delayed reaction by everybody. Like, not all the players called for it either. Only one or two of them. You know, like, I think it was just, as you said, I think it happened in front of the shed. It was a bit of a home decision. It was a bit of a home call.
Yeah, I think like Owen saying there, like a bit inconclusive. It was 100% inconclusive. There's no, and if you can't see it, if it's not 100% obvious, you give the benefit of the doubt to the defender. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what's the mindset in these circumstances, but there's no way. His hands were down by his side, lads. You can see that much. He didn't raise his hand. His hand wasn't in an unnatural position, or it wasn't that kind of, scenario.
Hands up in the
hands
air.
were down.
Yeah. And what was the commentator's take on it?
They both said the exact same thing, Richie. They were like, well, we can't possibly see whether he's handled the ball or not. We'll try and show it again. They showed it again, and the angle that they showed it again from was even just as bad. Nobody could say, 100% nailed on, Penno. It just wasn't. And, it done my head in, because, I mean, Cork went in the game whatsoever up to that point, and it was their way back into it. And, what could have been? It could have been a great 3 points away from home, which it really should have been. We should have had our shooting boots on. I'm not blaming the penalty, but look. So I have obviously skipped past the obvious sort of contentious point. We score to go 1-up. He disallows the goal because Conor Kane's fucking toenail is dangling on the line. I mean, have you ever seen anything like that in your life?
Yeah, Warren's toe.
Oh, sorry, Warren bloody Davis. I've got him mixed up again. I keep calling him other names. Warren Davis. But I mean, my God, lads. Bogo, what was your thoughts on it on the night?
Look, I had a good view of Davis, and like from what I could see, he wasn't. I know they're talking about toenail, but I don't know how the fucking line-up could call it either. And
exactly,
it was the line-up that called it. And but also, why did he not call it as soon as he went into the box and he let it go out? Like, I'd say if the keeper had a bit of that ball up the pitch,
nothing.
It would have been on. When he really could have it should have been brought back. So
that's a good point.
I also think if that was done in front of the shed and it was Cork that scored, he's not calling that back.
No, definitely not. No, I agree with you on that. And there's no way, it was his toenail, wasn't it? His foot wasn't in the box.
No.
It was touching the line at the bare minimum. And how many times does that happen every week in games? And it's not called that.
Every game, all over the country, junior football, League of Ireland, it's just constant. And, he decides to pick us up on it when, as you said, I agree. I think if that was the other way around and the scenario was it happened for Cork, is he disallowing that goal against Cork City in Cork? No way.
Yeah.
Really annoying.
It's poor. Yeah, it's poor. It's very poor officiating. All right. And then look, as Owen said, why let it get that far? As soon as if he's in that box, you flag straight away. Stop, you know what I mean? And then it cuts all that out, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I was kind of thinking, right, is this the same scenario as if the striker's offside, in an offside position, but picks up the ball and scores, they won't put the flag up until, the ball hits the back of the net. Is it that kind of, is it a similar situation to that? I don't know. And most people during the week, even like reading up stuff and looking at a couple of different bits online and that, his foot conclusively on the line? Because that was really difficult to see unless you slowed it down and paused it. And even then, it looks fairly flimsy as to whether his foot's on the line. And there's no way the referee and the linesman could see that on the night.
No, it's definitely not. No, it's very frustrating as well, because even ahead now, Dottie said in his interview, it was somebody walked on in training that set up at the edge of the box. And he did. Like a walk for him, and then when the Lions went to disallow it. And as my good friend Noel now kept, Hennessy's a cunt. He didn't like Hennessy. that was the talk of the whole. Even when they're in the car, Hennessy's a cunt. So he was a cunt coming home as well.
Oh, that's three times he's after saying the C word, Bogo. We're going to have to go in and edit all that out.
Yeah. The beep.
We've got a family friendly audience out there, Richie.
Yeah.
Well,
Cut that out.
we used to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it wasn't very friendly. My guy going there now. Listen to him.
I can imagine. I can imagine. But man, I'll tell you what, right? What a start that would have been as well. Going 1-up, and we were on top, and I mean, we continued to be sort of on top after that. But you're just going like, oh god, man, it was just there. Look, no, it kind of took the shine away from such a good performance because that's all that everybody was talking about. In the press and stuff after that for the few days, rather than how well we played, it was like, referees' decisions. Because I know there was obviously 2 sendings off in the Rovers Derry game as well, and one of them looked like it was a bit of a joke, but we won't talk about that. But so yeah, look, in my opinion, the goal should have stood, and if they're going to be that sort of nitpicky now going forward for the rest of the season, there's going to be loads and loads of decisions going against teams that they won't be happy about because the officiating has been really poor. I think since game one, we're only 6 or 7 games in now, but some of the decisions are crazy.
Yeah. And you know what's the frustrating thing now? You'll see this happening now this weekend. Watch in games, and it won't be called on. You will see it, and that is what I think gets everybody so frustrated. So inconsistent, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. But Boga, did you listen to Kev's interview?
I did, yeah. And he was obviously saying that he's always nice to the refs and doesn't get them back. But to be honest, I already agree with that. Just because you're nice to someone doesn't mean you should get decisions. But I sort of get what you're saying, where there's refs fucking give them dogs abuse and stuff, like what Clancy said a few weeks ago. And Clancy came out on the right side of decisions there on Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for someone as frustrated as he was, he kind of kept his calm.
Yeah, would you read much into that? Do you reckon there's anything to that? Because they think Kevin, he was trying to imply that, like, I'm such a nice guy, I get on well with them all, like that. If I was a bit of a dickhead towards them, that they wouldn't do that to me. I don't know whether that's true or not. Do you?
I don't think it is now.
No, it's a funny one though, isn't it? I don't. Because I mean, if you're a right knobhead to the refs and you're screaming and bawling at them all the way through a game, like various people, and like even Ollie Horgan. I mean, I'm not saying Ollie's knobhead. He's not. He seems like a good fella, but him and Coffey are always in the rear.
Always, yeah. Definitely, yeah. But you know what? It's funny even watching that in the side, and because he doesn't come across a nice lad in the side. Like he's always at it, isn't he? Now, I'm sure he's not abusing the swordfish on that. It's nothing like that. But he's always at him. He calls everything, doesn't he? But
he
was, he was boiling in the interview though, wasn't he? He was really holding it back.
He seemed fairly upset.
That's.
Say again, Boga, sorry.
He's afraid of getting a ban and say, be careful what he says. Cause
you have to be.
Yeah, he could see it in his voice. He could hear it in his voice now. He just wanted to let rip. But very frustrating.
Very frustrating. I think there was something like 25 or 26 cards given out in that round of games the other night. Like, and when you do up somebody was doing up the stats of assistant referees and referees bookings in the League of Ireland compared to other leagues around Europe is just through the roof. Like, so, there has to be some sort of a sit down between the Managers Association and the Referees Association and just say, right, lads, what's going on here? You know what I mean? What are we doing that's so over the top in comparison to other leagues? You know what I mean? Because it's just getting stupid now.
It is, and you know what, I wouldn't be one day like I hate blaming referees for when you're bad, because when you win, you don't mention it, don't you know? Or if something happens, but I hate having the referees centre of attention. We shouldn't be talking about referees. There's no way referees should be a topic of conversation the whole weekend. There's no way.
No, we've just spent the last 3 or 4 minutes here talking about a referee, and like I barely even know their names sometimes because I don't want to know. It's none of my business, that kind of way.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
It has to be talked about, though.
Yeah, oh no, without a doubt. And like the fact that they're being talked about is it's because it's so poor. And I don't think it's just one or two clubs. I think all the clubs can come out and agree, or all the fan bases, and say, yeah, they're poor. Like I think every club, all fan bases said would agree on it.
Yeah, I do too. But I can tell you what I found a bit bizarre. I think it was the bit of red supporters trust, the Sligo lads, put
Right,
out some statement.
seeing that.
Basically,
Yeah, that's a strange one.
isn't that a
Yeah,
bit strange, Boger? I mean, come on, fuck lads. It's really
Yeah,
what kind of effect did you think that was going to have? That'd be like the
yeah.
famous 45 draw the Ultras putting out a statement saying that they think referees are shit. Oh, right. No, no surprise there. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Bit
no, they weren't going to
pointless.
get much joy.
No, pointless exercise. And I mean, that's not your place either as a supporters trust. You just, you do your thing and let the club put out official
That's right.
statements, not supporters groups. You know what I mean? Not in my eyes.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
look,
their
right back.
statement was about Rob Hennessy, so maybe they do have a point.
Yeah, it was specifically about him, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Jesus
I'd
Christ.
say, yeah, I'd say that was Noel now. I'd say that was Noel had to say in that.
Right, lads. I'm going to after I hang up here, I'm going to have to type up a statement from the We Are the Drogs podcast official statement about how much of a knobhead Rob Hennessy is. Oh, Jesus Christ. But here, lads, going back to the goal, Kevin did say, oh, it was something that we've been working on in training. Like,
Yeah,
he was obviously referring to, like, the press, you know what I mean? Because that's something that we have been doing and been doing really successfully. So even last season, Warren Davis sort of bearing in on goal in Inchicore, and he scored he scored a really similar goal. Do you remember that one?
that's right. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I remember that one.
What's that, Boga?
Yeah, did he do it somewhere else as well? I don't
He
know where it
did.
went in,
He
but
did it in
yeah,
United Back.
yeah,
He did it against Dundalk. No, was it? No, it wasn't really close. Was that one in Dundalk? Where he closed him down, didn't he? Tapped it around the keeper.
That was them, dog.
yeah,
Was it Dundalk? Yeah, he did that against Dundalk, didn't he?
So it's obviously something that Kevin's been sort of encouraging him to do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
hanging. I think the one in Inchicore was more sort of hanging around at the side, not really seen, and then just sort of making his way towards the keeper before it was too late because it was a back pass. But
yeah,
he definitely sort of has that in his game. You know what I mean? He's really, really good at sort of bearing down on a keeper when he's not expecting it. And it was just,
yeah,
it was just really, really unfortunate for him because he was really, really good on the night, Warren. And again, it was a Air Force Live TV game, and we got a lot of plaudits from
yeah,
the commentators and from the lads in the studio and in the newspapers during the week. There was a good lot of people saying how really good he was, and I thought it was ironic that the sort of young lad that came on for Cork that's been injured as a Cottle Sullivan.
that's
Uh,
right.
yeah,
yeah, he's the kind of little sort of the next big thing, isn't he? Everybody's saying how amazing he's going to be and all that. And I can't really comment on it because he only came on and he only played 20 minutes the other night. And I mean, he wasn't great. He actually gave the ball away for their goal, but
That's right.
a lot of people in football in the country would reckon that has real potential to go elsewhere and sort of end up going across the water or go to Europe or something. But I'd say Warren Davis is right up there with him. I mean, what was Warren's birthday today, and he was 20. I don't know what age that Cotton Sullivan is, but he has to be up there as well. Is he 17, 18, 19, something
I
like that?
think he's 17. I think he's 17.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or he just turned 18. One of the Cork lads was saying he
right.
says enjoy watching him because he'll be off to England now in a few months. So.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And do you reckon
yeah,
if Warren keeps up this kind of level of performance, there's no way we're hanging on to him.
yeah. And I think there's a couple of clubs watching him already, isn't there?
Is that right? I
Yeah,
haven't heard that.
There
was he? I
is. Yeah,
don't know when he went on trial to maybe
Cardiff.
Blackpool.
All right.
Cardiff mentioned as well, I think maybe. Yeah, but Blackpool was one, and there was someone else I think looking at. But yeah, he's definitely making a name for himself. He's
yeah,
undroppable.
He's only what,
yeah. And
man?
I had.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, he's undroppable at the minute.
Oh yeah, he's 100%. He'd be my first name on the team sheet at the minute. He was absolutely brilliant for a large period of that game the other day as well.
Yeah, he got a lot of ball down along the right hand side when you're in the first half.
Yeah,
Great. He's just. I don't know what happened this season, but he's really kicked on, hasn't he? He's got that burst of pace as well as you're on about closing down. Over that short distance, he's really strong,
yeah,
closing that down. But he's getting on the ball. He wants the ball. I think he's brilliant, as you were saying. Definitely first name on the sheet at the minute.
yeah. Without
Definitely.
doubt, without doubt. He just seems like, I mean, he always seemed like a fairly confident guy. You know what I mean? Very, very young, kind of getting into the
Yeah,
thing, sort of bursting onto the scene, and you were going, yeah, this boy, there's something definitely a lot of
yeah.
potential. But he's in the last few games, he's just realising that potential now. I mean, he's just pulling out some unbelievable finishes, like the one against Shelbourne is an incredible goal, and
That's
you know,
right.
he's got so much to his game as well, and a lot of room to grow. And as I said, he's like literally turned 20 today, and you can just see the difference in him over from the end of last year up until
Yeah.
the games of the night in Cork. Like, so long may it last, and I hope we don't lose him. But if you want to compare him to anybody on that Cork side, like if people are saying about this Cotler Sullivan chap, how good he is and the potential he has, I definitely think Warren Davis is in that conversation. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, and as well, I think this whole Brexit thing is helping these young lads, isn't it? Because
exactly.
probably a few years ago, he was probably gone to England at this stage, when over when he's 15 or 16.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
fact that they have to stay here now till they're 18, like it is really helping them. Like they're that bit older. So
yeah. Even though physically they're bit bigger,
yes,
going over and stuff, and they're playing against men in the League of Ireland. Like, it definitely helps you. Like, then where you're going over playing academy games that don't really mean nothing and they're not really
no,
intense.
yeah, and then like I mean, and to go over at that such a young age, 15 or 16, so there's no way they're ready for it. Not a chance.
No, so look, I like this is going back to sort of like the 80s and that we were in St Oliver's in school. Like, and I won't name them, but there were so many lads went off from Drogheda for trials with
Mm,
like fucking Tottenham Hotspurs and various clubs that were like massive. You know what I mean? And he's gone off on trial to this, that, and the other, and you know.
yeah,
You can count on one hand how many of them made it, like Gary Kelly and Ian Hart, really, because it's just such a difficult prospect to send over a 15-year-old
yeah,
over to England to live in a bedsit, you know, as you said, playing in reserve leagues and all that. I mean, Gary was nearly on the plane home, wasn't he? Until there was a game where he was asked to play. He was asked
right
to play
foot.
in defence instead of being the striker. So you know what I mean. It's just really is
Yeah,
luck of the draw, but. You would like to think that the likes of Warren, if he keeps up his kind of form for us, that he might get across there. We all know the likes of Walsall and all that are going to be keeping a good eye on our performance to see if they can kind of
yeah.
maybe grab one of them and all that. I mean, it's going to go both ways. I mean, we've been the sort of we've benefited more from this kind of deal at the moment than they have with the likes of Dougie James Taylor and that. So they
Yeah.
got Evan Weir, and I'm not really sure how it's going for Evan over there. I'd like to think it's going well for
He,
him, but I don't know.
he, he actually played last night.
Oh, did
He's
he?
played the last two games. Yeah, he's getting a little
Yeah,
bit more game time now recently.
yeah,
Are they still top of the league?
yeah. I don't know how because
Definitely
yeah,
took him
like
more than eight.
they've been scraping it. Now look, I suppose at this stage of the season, they don't really care how they stay there as long as they stay there. You know, as long
They
as
were
they
two,
get
two,
promotion.
2 points ahead.
They
But
get
they
up.
were they're 2 points ahead of second and third, but they were 12 points ahead, I think, at one
Yeah,
stage.
Right. Wow. How many more games is left in that league?
Uh, not
not just
many.
sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
the well into the because that usually finishes early May, doesn't it? So
Yeah,
we're in April now as it is. So
yeah, I
because
think
Right.
they'd
there's
have the
6 points
playoffs and that.
left.
Hmm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
but
you'd be wondering, is it beneficial for Drogheda United if Walsall win the league or not?
yeah, like obviously both the leagues. So what they went to League One. So
Yeah.
my looking at it is just my opinion on it. If they don't want Dougie in League Two, do they want him in League One? Like we'd be quite happy to take him.
Yeah, that's another one we'll have to get into on another day. But
Yeah,
obviously, we hope to have him sort of back in the squad in the next what, in the next 2-3 weeks he's back doing a bit of light training apparently.
He's back training. I think it's just the kicking of the ball. So I think I've seen somebody had up or something. I think everything else is fine. It's just action. But as somebody said, that's the most important bit, isn't it?
Yeah, the game's called football, so we're in trouble there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I know. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Well, look now, I definitely think Warren's filling in, isn't he? Like,
Yes.
he's doing a great job. So look, I'm definitely not saying he's going to replace Dougie. It's Dougie, but Warren's doing great.
Could we get Warren Davis and Dougie on the pitch at the same time?
Absolutely, why not?
I'd like
Why
to see
not?
them.
Say again, Boger. Sorry, you're kind of disappearing there a
Yeah.
bit.
I was talking to the lads about this on Friday, and we said, yeah, that'd be a good combination. We'd like to see Dougie and Davis up front. I think it'll work well.
Yeah, obviously
Yeah.
we'd have to leave Alua. What did you make of Thomas's performance on Friday? He was full of energy.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, I like him, so like, I know he's not scoring probably at the minute, but look, he scored against Bowes. But I definitely think he's going to be fine. I definitely still think as I said before, he's still got very used to full-time football. As you said, he's full of energy. He's dangerous. I had somebody who was telling me after the Shells game, I think Duff is a big admirer of him. I think Damon Duff now Duff at Shelbourne, yeah. Apparently after the Shells game now that night, Duff was raving about him. So,
Okay.
yeah, so look, there is definitely loads of potential there. It'll be only a matter of time, I think. I like him.
What's your thoughts, Boger?
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the way he throws himself about. He's quick, he's physical, he's not afraid to take a shot. He's a couple of good chances. I think keeper saved on him on Friday night, but he's doing a good job considering, like as you were saying, the switch to full-time football as well. He's probably still a bit on the raw side, but I think the more you play, the better you'll get.
Yeah, no, I agree. No problem seeing him on the team sheet because he has a burst of place. Again, I'll say it again. I've said it 3 times in the podcast so far. But what we seen that day when he played against us, if he could kind of replicate that kind of performance week in week out, he'd be top player. Like, but again, full time football, it's going to take him a little while to get used to that. And he's playing at a different level. I kind of forget that too because we seen him playing against us, but we have to remember he was a 4th division player, so he's coming up against a much better standard in the Premier Division than he was down in the 4th division.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and like as well in the Premier League, like you have to perform every week, don't you? In Division 1, you'll get away with a couple of games.
Yeah,
Like, you're probably not even being tested, but no, in the Premier League, it's every game you have to be on it, and you're being scrutinised. But no, I definitely think he'll be fine. I like him.
Yeah, no, I like him too, and that's a good point. But again, the pool of players is much smaller in the 4th division as well, so managers can't afford to be dropping lads because they're kind of dipping in their games. You're just going to have to get a consistent 11 and try and stick with it. We know that. Going back to our goal, again, it was that young lad, O'Sullivan, came on for Cork, and it was funny. It was the commentators' course because they were just saying how good he was and blah, 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 blah. The first person who ran into on the pitch was Ryan Brennan. God love the kid because he just kind of, bam, like, he just sort of belted into him and the ball came off him. And Luke Heaney, who would come on for Daramarki, who we'll talk about in a minute about the injury and stuff, but so Luke takes the ball and just kind of runs through the centre of the pitch, really direct, lovely little kind of through ball for Warren, takes it on his right foot, then has to kind of turn onto his left and just places it into the bottom corner. It was an absolute peach of a goal.
Brilliant goal, yeah. And just even go back to Ryan, he's great at that, isn't he? Just breaking up he comes out with the ball. It's not as if the ball ricochets or goes everywhere. He comes out with it. He's brilliant. He's so good at it. And then, as you said, Heaney gets on the ball, full of energy, just charges them down. Brilliant. And then Davis finished it. Super goal. It really was.
Super goal. I think me and Bogo, we were talking about Luke Heaney a few weeks ago as well, and how kind of he's kind of unlucky because he's going to have that tag about him now as well. He's kind of like, he's a sub, innit? You know what I mean? He has been for a long time. but we don't know what way things are going to go in the next few months with injuries and players coming
Yeah,
and going. But when he has come onto the pitch, he's performed. He's done well.
brilliant,
Yeah, he's
brilliant.
always made an impact when he's come on. He scored against Sligo.
He
It
did.
is, yeah. It's just unfortunate that he's Farrell and Brennan ahead of him. Farrell's form has probably dipped the last couple of games, but I thought he actually done well. Farrell done well in the second half when he played in a more advanced role, like the marquee role.
Yeah.
And he so at least it's a good option. Like if Dara's carrying a knock or whatever, you just play Farrell in the 10 and Heaney can slot in there, and I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I see Heaney come in the team of the week. Would that be right? Was he in the team of the week?
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
sure. I
right.
didn't
Yeah.
see.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think somebody said he was the first substitution to make the team of the week.
All right. Okay. Oh, that's
Which is
good.
great,
I'm delighted for him.
Yeah, yeah. No, and he's look, as Owen said there, you've got great options there now. You know, you can push fairly forward. Heaney can come in. He definitely has been not hard done by, but he's been playing well enough to get into the team, hasn't he? And he just hasn't had the luck yet. But great stuff to bring on, brilliant player to bring on.
Well, he's kind of like, and it's a cliche at this point. There's the same story with 1,000 players over 1,000 leagues. If they're that sort of utility player that can play in a couple of different positions and do well,
Yeah,
you're going to end up on the bench because the manager's like, well, look, I might need to bring you in if such and such gets injured or somebody gets
yeah,
sent off. You know what I mean? And he's kind of
yeah.
unfortunate, but I mean, if he keeps at it, as I said, you'll never know what's coming down the line. We've a lot of games to play with Europe and
Oh, yeah,
the cup games and all the rest of the league games. I think he's going to feature fairly heavily for us going forward. But just
yeah.
sort of going back to the goal, we scored to bring it back to 1-1, and then there was another. Your man pulled off another decent save from, I think did Heaney pass that ball in for Alua that time as well? Alua had a good shot and goal as well, and your man pounded it away.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. It was a good save. Yeah, he cleared off the line, was it? Was it cleared off the line? Was it that close?
Yeah, no, it was right in on top of him
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
shed end. I was after we'd gone 1-1 to kind of bring it to 2-1, but yeah, look, the amount of missed chances, man, it's still fucking haunting me. But look, we at the beginning of the season, we probably would have thought, right, look, lads, you're going to go down to Sonos Cross and come back with a point.
yeah.
And you, in your words, Richie, the old 6-pointer and all that. I mean,
Oh, yes.
are we still going to be in and around Cork at the end of the year, or what? What did you make of them? I know they're missing a few players. They're missing Bulger and Shawnee Maguire and one other lad in the defence. What did you make of them overall?
Yeah, I thought you were average now. No, yeah, definitely. I don't think Bulger, look, two good players, but two players don't make a team. I thought you were average, really, really average. Keaton, I just don't get. I don't get the hype about him. I really don't. But yeah, no, I definitely think we're a lot stronger now after seeing a Friday night. So hopefully we just kick on and stay away from them. Let them
Yeah.
stay down the bottom. We'll worry about the top half, hopefully.
Well, I suppose it's Bowes and Sligo are down the bottom at the minute, but we're not sure what way that's going to pan out. Bogo, what was your overall thoughts on Cork and where they'll be at the end of the year?
Yeah, no, I agree with Richie. Yeah, they did seem fairly average, and they seem to be very open team and kind of easy to get in behind and stuff. I
Yeah,
do think they will be. They could be. I think if they finish 8th, they'll be the highest they'll finish.
And I think
yeah, no.
it'd be a decent enough season to come up from the first division and finish 8th, wouldn't
Without a
Absolutely,
doubt.
yeah.
Yeah, you take it.
it? Right, so look,
Definitely, yeah.
1-1, and we leave that one there, I suppose. Now, Friday at home to Waterford. They were beaten in the 96th minute by Pats at the weekend, and they were unlucky.
Yeah, they're playing decent enough, aren't they?
Yeah, like, I mean, with people like Paul Hammond in your team, I mean, the guy's lethal.
Oh, some goal. That was some header.
Unbelievable, isn't he?
Crazy, yeah. He is. He's so dangerous. He has that confidence about him. He's probably going to the pitch now and he's going to score every week. He's like one of these players.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they are playing well, but probably not doing great away from home. They're probably I'll be at home. They're strong, all right. So don't know what their away form is like.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think it was a Darrell Eaty own goal for the fourth Pat's goal as well. And the Waterford went 1-up, and Pat's
Yeah,
equalised through the Waterford own goal through your man Darrell Eaty. Yeah, he's ex-Crap Town, isn't he?
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, so happy enough for him. What's your thoughts, Bogo? What do you reckon on Waterford Friday night?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting one. Like, just looking at their form, like, they've won 3 and lost 4, like, no draws. Scored 8, conceded 11. So you can score against them. What they've scored the same amount of goals as us. Conceded 7 more. So I think we will get chances on Friday. We just need to try and keep Amon quiet. I think it's a
Yeah,
main danger for them.
So what are we looking at? We've scored 8 and conceded 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's concession-wise, that's fairly impressive.
Best,
yeah,
best defence in the league at the minute.
Yeah, man, that's a stat we want to try and keep up going into this game. As you said, obviously they've a couple of danger men, but he's obviously the standout player for them. Was he the lead top scorer in the league last year? Wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
He
It was
was.
up
Might be
there anyway.
behind someone else, but right up there. And last year against them, obviously we had that total capitulation down in the RSC where we went ahead through Bauer. That brilliant goal through Bauer, and then we just absolutely collapsed. And then we had
Where we 2-0 up that day, were we?
yeah, we were. We ended
Yeah,
up
yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
But I was going to say we did also have a fairly drab 0-0 draw with Waterford in United Park that I remember last year. Am I correct in saying that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, definitely.
Was it early on in the season, wasn't it?
Yeah. So,
I think so.
Because then we beat them at home late
what
on.
was what was the score on that one on?
Was it 3-0? Did we 3-1? We beat
3-1 or
them.
3-0, yes. Yeah.
We beat them handy enough.
Was that the one Foley scored the last goal, was it?
I can't remember who scored now, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I definitely fancy us Friday night now at home.
Oh, I would.
Yeah, we
100%.
have to. Yeah, definitely. The way we're playing, we're definitely full of confidence after last Friday as well. We're
I
definitely
was
not going to fail them.
2-0 that game. We bet them.
2-0?
Right, okay,
Yeah, Foley scored late to kind of
that's
snatch.
right. That's right. He broke, didn't he, from midfield? He was 1-on-1 with the keeper.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just as well one of us has Google in front of us, so this would be a really crappy listen for anyone who is listening. Did we play
Just
that
making
last
it
year?
clear.
Oh, did we? Oh, I think you might have, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Good man, Owen.
What was I going to say, lads? Just with going in, like, first 11 on Friday, I mean, the team is sort of picking itself at the minute, but we did have a couple of injuries. We had Aaron Harper-Bailey coming in for Quinn. How did you think Bailey got on in Cork?
Yeah, I thought he was all right. Now, like his passing's not great, is it? He's not great when he has the ball at his feet.
No.
No.
He's not great, but look, he knows how to defend. He'd win balls in the air, like himself and Keeley there, the two big lads at the back.
Yeah.
They're not gonna miss too many headers, man. He blocks balls. He's always in the right position, which is good. But I just sometimes at the ball, he just tends to kick it up the pitch, doesn't he? Into no man's land.
He's a bit old school in that way, isn't he? But
Yeah,
then again,
He is, yeah.
that might be something we need going forward as well. What did you reckon on him, Boga?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I thought he was alright. Obviously, he's coming in cold for that game as well. Like, he hasn't had much game time, so just you have to factor that in as well. Yeah, I thought he was doing okay. Like, he slotted in alright.
He
yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
he hasn't started a game since that President's Cup game, has he? Oh, that was the pre-season. He hasn't started a league game since the first one was the other night.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to two boys now. Did you hear anything with Quinn and Cooper?
I haven't heard
No,
anything.
no. I
No.
mean the club isn't. great, are they, at putting out any kind of information as to, do other clubs do that? Because I don't really follow, pages of other clubs, but like, you normally get a
Yeah,
rumour going out as to why a player's been out injured. Oh, and before I forget, really disappointing to see Josh Thomas in the squad, and then, he get injured in the warm-up.
the warm up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nightmare for
It's,
him, isn't it?
it's so frustrating. So it is. You get a couple of players back, and then you lose them like that.
Yeah,
Very, very frustrating. You know.
really, really annoying. And Darren Markey goes off the injured the other night. The word I'm hearing is just a dead leg.
Yep. Dead leg. Think he's all good.
Right,
Yeah.
that's good
Yeah.
news. And
Yeah.
still no word on Signal, your man Doyle. I don't know what's going on with him.
Was he on the bench the other night?
Yeah, he was on the bench. Yeah,
On the
apparently.
bench. Right.
At least
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I don't like. He is a nice player. Now I've seen him a couple of times, but I don't think he's getting near that midfield, is he, at the minute?
No,
No.
them
I
three.
don't think so. Yeah. Yeah. Like he's definitely he's still behind Heaney. Like if you look at the bench, you look at Heaney first, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I would agree. I would agree. And here, just to, sorry, Owen, you going to say something?
No.
All right, go on. What was I going to say? Just to touch on Bossakane, I did see a couple of people online saying, like, what has
Yeah.
Bossakane done to Kevin? Like, I mean, he's not getting a look, and he brought that other chap on again the other day for the last few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's obviously something he's seen at training, isn't it? All week,
Mm.
That's what he's not seeing.
Or something he's not seeing exactly on. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he is. That's another player with plenty of potential, but I know who you're on about now, Niall. He keeps putting he's
Yeah,
on Facebook during the week now. Why isn't he getting a look? And he's right. He is right. He's like, if we don't see him or if he's not getting a run, we're not going to see his potential or what he's able to do.
yeah, exactly. But look, again, in Kevin Darrow we trust, because as you said,
Yeah.
there's something he's not seen in training that's not giving him this opportunity. But hopefully, as the season goes on, we'll start seeing him being used a wee bit more as a substitute, because he definitely looks like he's a lot of potential.
Absolutely. But plus as well, I mean, you've got Warren after coming in there and taking his opportunity, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And look, we've always said with Dottie, he doesn't change the team that much. He keeps it fairly tight.
Yeah, no, he really, really does.
Yeah.
Right, lads, I don't think there's much more we can talk about the Waterford game. I'm going to get a couple of predictions on.
I know 2-0 win for us.
2-0 win for the Drogs. Richie?
Yeah, I was going to say too, but I'll go 3. I'll go 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, why not? We're confident at the minute, lads. We're playing well. We're creating chances. Why not?
Right, I'm going to go with a 2-1. I definitely think Podge Hammond is going to probably nick one.
Yeah.
I'll go 2-1 to Drogs.
Yeah, we'd be happy with that.
I'd be very, very happy with that. So we're going into the game still in third. We're only like, one point off the top or 2 points off the top. Galway are now sitting at the top. Not that this matters anyway, but
No.
it's nice to be in third spot going into the. Is this the last? No, we haven't been away to Waterford yet. How many more games to go in the? Oh no, this is the last game in the fourth round, is it?
No, we have to play Derry as well.
Derry.
Derry.
Right. Okay.
I think that's
Yeah. And come here, lads. Just on that now, not sitting top. Do you, I think that's a good thing. I don't think we need that extra attention of sitting top of the table every week. I just think it'd be nice to sit around, top half the table, just go about your business quietly.
Yeah. I did enjoy it though, Richie. I have to admit that.
Yeah, look, it's good, but look, are we going to finish the end of the season top of the table? Probably not.
100% we are.
Yeah, I like your confidence. Now, I tell you, it just because we were actually talking about Friday night, and a few people are saying it just takes that limelight off you at the minute. You just look. Maybe it's a good or a bad thing. I don't know, but I'm quite happy now. If the season finished at the minute, and we were sitting third, we'd be all quite happy.
Yeah, we would. Do you know what? I take your point, but I don't think Drogheda being top of the league kind of heaps loads more pressure on Drogheda. I just think people are kind of taking it with a pinch of salt, because it's like, right,
Yeah,
we're predicted to finish bottom, but yet we're top after like 5-6 games. If it's
yeah,
like Pats or Derry or somebody who's top of the league, everyone start piling on the pressure onto them, then saying
right.
yous have a squad and a budget
Yeah,
big enough to go on and win this league. You've no excuse now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Whereas us,
yeah,
we were getting a lot of plaudits and lots of pats at the back about how well we're doing, but I don't think well, this is from my point of view. I don't know how it feels to be a player, but it didn't look like there was a lot. Like the fans certainly not putting it in.
yeah, yeah,
Go on,
yeah.
what
No,
do you reckon?
definitely.
Look, it's better to be looking down than looking up the table, but
Big time.
just
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm happy enough once we're safe. Relatively easy. We can start planning early for next year. You can throw down 2 or 3 year contracts to lads, and you can build even more then.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
else, to my opinion.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. And just even saying that, we just walking out the ground the other night, and somebody said, "Oh, we need 28 more points or something to be safe." And so I was already Chad's thinking that way already. Oh,
oh
yeah,
God Almighty, that's the
yeah,
most odd thing I've ever heard.
isn't
We need
it?
another
Oh, come here.
28 points to be safe.
Yeah, yeah. But come here, look, the way things are going, we just take one game at a time, the usual saying, and but look, we're definitely playing well enough to stay in our top half of the table.
But
Why not?
that's a good point, right? What I was going to say there was, like, at the end of the fourth round of games, if we're still in and around third, and then at the end of the second round of games, even if you're like back down into fourth or fifth, you're still kind of in the mix up to try and get European football. And I think the longer we go on getting decent results, the more
Mm,
that's going to start creeping into people's minds. It's got nothing to do with winning the league, because
yeah,
that's not going to happen. And we're all very realistic about that. But
yeah,
European football, if I come back to you in 2 months' time and we're still kind of playing the way we are and still doing well, we'll have to start kind of considering that. But obviously, that's a long way away.
mm,
But
yeah,
we have a good consistency at the moment. I know the Rovers game was a bit of a blip, but I mean the Shamrock Rovers, and as you said, Richie, they were the best team that we've played all year, and
yeah.
massive experience in that side, and a huge gulf between us and them. But I don't think anyone else has really played us off the park so far this year.
No, no, definitely agree with all that. Yeah, absolutely. And as well, saying that on the Rovers game, we were actually disappointed we didn't get a point.
Yeah,
It was as if they came and spanked us 4 or 5-0.
no,
It
no,
should have been a draw.
yeah,
So,
I agree.
no, definitely, it's all positive.
Yeah, no, 100%. Is there anything else any of you want to add? Any other points we need to talk about, or not anything off the pitch you've been hearing? Or
Just going to give a shout out to. So I was over in Bulgaria at the Ireland match, and bumped into a lad from RD. Turns out he's a Drogheda fan, and he just asked me to give. He listens to the podcast as well. So Graham from RD, and he told me to give out shout out to his mate Harkle as well. So there's a few lads fighting the Drogs fight up in RD. Bit close
good
to
lads,
ball. Fair play to them.
good lads. They're not crap town fans. That's what we want to hear. They're all fairly close to you now. Your neck of the woods, Richie, out in Cullen, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, and they call it now. Wouldn't be too many Dundalk fans around this stretch, but definitely more go towards RD and especially Dunleer as well. There's a good few Drogs down in Dunleer. We know the lads below.
Yeah, the
Pat,
daily.
Pat Lawless and the boys, but definitely RD's just loads of Dundalk below and RD's there is. But that's good to hear. There's a few Drogs below, keeping the flag flying high.
Yeah, I used to know a man that used to come to games, probably 15 years ago. A man and his son, they used to come to loads of away games as well from RD. I haven't seen the man in a long, long time. His son could still be going. I wouldn't even recognise him now, obviously, because he was only a kid at the time. But there was always a few, and there was definitely always a good few in Dunleer. But yeah, no, that's nice to hear. Like,
Definitely.
right, boys, I think we've talked enough for today, and we shall see each other on Friday night. So fingers crossed for a positive result.
Yeah,
Right,
another big
Morgan.
game ahead.
Absolutely. See you then.
Right, Richie, cheers, man.
Nice one, lads. Talk to you
Talk to
soon.
you. All right, bye bye.
All the best, guys. Good luck.
Before you're leaving, and the fishermen come, and the fishermen go.
20